Hey guys, it's the Dutch Sandwich. I know it's been a while since I've made a video. A lot of stuff's been going on here, as I'm sure it's been going on with you, but we moved, and one of the things I've never really talked about on my channel is how much I've kind of gotten into collecting whiskey. So I think if I've calculated correctly, I've got around 290 bottles. So I wanted to give you a tour of the collection. This right here that you see is about 160 of the bottles. And then I'm going to take you into another room where I've got the other ones. So I'm going to just kind of run through these and maybe just make a couple of comments, but there's probably not enough time to go through each one, but just kind of wanted to share it. So down here is a bunch of the Jim Beam signature crafts. So these are distilled from other, kind of more exotic grains. You can kind of read the fronts there, but I've got 2 of each of those. And then moving over to another Jim Beam product are some Knob Creek store picks. So these are, like this one's a rye store pick, and then the liquor store picked out this kind of neat Michael Jackson sticker. I don't know, the store picks are kind of fun for me just because there's something different. They're one-offs. Some more Knob Creeks, the 25th anniversary, another store pick, and then the 2001. And then we've got some Russells here. This one was one of my favorite labels. I just love, I don't chew a lot of gum, but I just love the Juicy Fruit logo, and just kind of got some nostalgic things, I guess, from eating or chewing Juicy Fruit as a kid. Shake and Bake. This one was hard to find, the Evan Williams 12-year. I think that's a Japan-only release. A couple Parkers, just kind of the regular Parkers. I don't have too many of those. And then I've got a couple of the Elijah Craig 18-year, and then a couple of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, which won Whiskey of the Year, I think, 2 years ago. Hancock's Reserve, made by Buffalo Trace. Another Buffalo Trace Blanton's Barter House. I've got the Willet Rye and then the Willet 80th anniversary. Stranahan's here, autographed by, I forget who exactly this is, but maybe someone will recognize it. I think it's someone that either owns or works at the distillery. It was a store pick from Gasper's up in Tampa. And so they, this is actually the Tampa Bay Whiskey Society, not Gasper's, but I bought it at Gasper's. And then a lot of the High West offerings, Midwinter Night's Dram, and then a lot of the ones that you see here. New Riff store pick with the Beverly Hillbillies on it. It's really fun. And then just the regular New Riff single barrel. I've got a lot of the Four Roses special single barrel recipes. I think there's 10, or I'm pretty sure there's 10, but I've only got 9. So I am missing one of those. Got some of the Weller Antique, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. Weller 12, the Weller CYPB. Some people aren't familiar with the CYPB. That one was pretty hard to find. It's a Create Your Perfect Bourbon. You can look it up. It's kind of a neat story that they did. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. I've got one of the William LaRue Wellers, 2 of the George T. Stagg antiques, one of the Thomas Handy. Those are all the Buffalo Trace antique collection. Then I've got 2 of the Van Winkle 12-year, 1 of the Pappy Van Winkle 15 years, and then 2 of the Old Rip Van Winkle 10 years. 1792s. These were really fun to collect. I love the different colors of the neck bands. Full Proof here on the right, store pick, and then a special one here that was bottled on the day that the warehouse collapsed, so they put Miley Cyrus on it with a wrecking ball. Really, really fun. Single barrel, sweet wheat, port finish, kind of the standard old label right there. High rye, and the 225th anniversary on the far side. So, and then the top shelf, we've got all bottled in bond. So, Old Tub, Jim Beam, Evan Williams, Oregon Wheat, Oregon Rye, Catochin, I don't really know how to pronounce that one, I'm sorry. AD Laws, that's a little bit, those were pretty hard to find, but I really wanted to try to track down as many bottled in bonds as I could. So, got the 80 Laws there, the 1792, a lot of the old Fitzgerald, different years, the 9, the 11, and the 14, the old plastic bottle, old Fitzgerald that was discontinued the J.W. Dant, the George Dickel Bottle and Bond that just came out in One Whiskey of the Year, Old Bardstown, Very Old Barton, JTS Brown, Mellow Corn, Old Grandin, Rittenhouse, New Riff, the Early Times. I love the Early Times bottle. It's such a pretty blue. Kind of matches the blue of this room. The Heaven Hill, this Woodford Reserve that was pretty hard to find. It's a $3.75. And then a Jack Daniels that was a gift shop release, an Old Forester Bottled and Bond. Another Oregon Spirits, not the wheat, just like the regular one, the McKenna, and then a Wilderness. All right, so that kind of sums up. This is the kind of the upstairs room here with the collection. Now we're going to go down into the garage and finish it up. All right, so now we're here in the garage for the second part here. You can see a CD collection on both sides. Actually, most of it is not mine. Some of it is, but a majority of it's actually my uncle-in-law's that we've been inherited, and we just have a ton of fun with it. It's just neat to, anytime you go into the car, just grab a new one and try it out. And a lot of the stuff we've heard of, but there's a good bit of it that we haven't, and just discover new old artists is really fun. But anyways, I can talk about that in another video. Let's just go through what's down here. So Elmer T. Lee, some Stagg Jr., Weller Special Reserve, some of, what's this one? I always forget. David James, Mad Scientist, the Four Roses Single Barrel, Small Batch Select, Johnny Drum, some more 1792, and the Single Barrel and the Bottled and Bond. Then I've got a Woodford Rye with an old barrel and a new barrel, Virgin Oak. Some Minor Case Rye, some Sagamore Store Pick from Gasper's, an Old Label Wild Turkey, and then some Whistle Pigs, and then I think a Roeblen Rye there in the back. Some more of the Oregon Spirits Rye that I showed you upstairs, some Michter's Rye, and then two of the Angel's Envy finished rye. Some Pinhook Rye back there, two Sazerac Ryes. We've got E.H. Taylor section here. I've got 4 grain, the regular rye, just the regular small batch, single barrel, and then a couple backup small batches, 2 Eagle Rares, a regular Buffalo Trace, and then a Buffalo Trace store pick. Old Forester single barrel store pick, Old Forester Old Fine Whiskey in the Prohibition style, Jack Daniels single barrel. I think this one was in the top 5 for Whiskey of the Year pretty recently. Bibb and Tucker, and then what's that one? Boone County or Oregon Spirits, Cedar Ridge. Kind of looking forward to trying that one. This one I don't have space for upstairs, but this is another new addition, the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond, the new one that came out. I've got an Orphan Barrel 23, one of the Nika from the barrels. I think this one Whiskey of the Year a couple years ago as well. Bellmead, I've got the Sherry and the Madeira cask finish, more McKenna, a Wild Turkey, Redemption Wheat, and I think this is more wheat, Woodford Wheat, Makers, and then another Makers store pick from Gasper's. Smooth Amblers that you can find at the store, an Old Ezra barrel proof, 2 Russell's store picks here, Jefferson store picks from Gaspar's, a Balcones store pick from Gaspar's, Woodford store pick from Gaspar's, and then 2 Russell's store picks from Gaspar's. Some Balcones Baby Blue, Old Bardstown, some Green Label Heaven Hill, Michter's American, yep. Waltham, Southwell, 601, Calumet, Woodford, Basil Hayden's, the Caribbean rum cask finish, and then the 10-year, more Early Times, Kentucky Vintage and Pure Kentucky. I love those 2 labels with the wax on top. That's really cool. The Smooth Ambler Stillhouse, backup Blanton's. Some just regular Elijah Craig. I think these might be store picks actually. I forget. Oh well, I think they might be, but oh, the second one is. Yep, I got those up in Georgia. Some Yellowstones, a Booker's, some more Smooth Ambler. I've got a gin here, that doesn't count. Crown Peach, that was a gift. It's actually really good, as long as you don't have more than one. Horse Soldier, another Jefferson's Crown Bourbon Mash, some Compass Box from Gas Bars, and then a Japanese whiskey, which doesn't count. I've got some Irish and some other stuff right there. But JTS Brown Ancient Age, which is kind of hard to find here in Florida, but I found that up in Georgia. Dickel 12, some Rebel Yell I got on sale. Wild Turkey Forgiven, a big small batch, $17.92, and then a big Willet, if you can see the top of the Willet down there. Big Woodford, I got some Ezra Brooks really cheap and some Old Charter really cheap. It was on sale someday. So that's pretty much the whole collection. I ended up just buying a bunch of it and storing it away in boxes, just thinking or knowing that I was going to move eventually. And so I kind of lost track of what I was buying. By the time it all got moved and I was unpacking, I was like, holy shit, I bought way too much. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna need to buy anything for a long time. I don't really drink that much. I only have like maybe 3 drinks a week. So yeah, hopefully a lot of people come over and drink this, because I don't think I'll get through this anytime soon. Let's go look at the my bar setup, and I'll show you a couple more bottles just as like a bonus. All right, here's the bar setup. And so open, I've got Monkey Shoulder, if people want scotch. I've got Ezra Brooks for like an inexpensive mixer. The Nika from the barrel, Peerless. I actually have an old rip that's open that is mostly gone. And then a Russell's Gaspar's Slow Pick, a Weller Special Reserve, Zaya Rum, Whistle Pig Rye, Hanger 1 Vodka, Tito's 1 Vodka, Whitley Neal Gin, St. George Gin, an old bottle of White Christmas from Anchor Distillery, Don Sergio Tequila, 1942 tequila, and then just like some other, either I think it's Averna and some other things that I use for some of my cocktails. So yeah, that is pretty much a tour of all of my collection here. I'll do another video about how I got into bourbon more specifically. So if you have any questions, please put them down below, and thank you for watching.